Is it okay if I go outside and maybe light a fire and maybe start work on another little video project? Is it okay?
Maybe.
Okay.
You couldn't put this on YouTube.
Why not?
Well, hello ladies and gentlemen. Here we have a review of some equipment that Trevor sent me. Well, actually it's not equipment, it's equipment that you have to make yourself, which actually is sort of cool. So it's a harvester radio, and effectively what this does is it takes radio signals that are being broadcast by very powerful radio stations and harvests, as the title explains, the electricity from those signals and charges a rechargeable battery. It's sort of cool. It's free energy. Yeah. Anyway, we've got an awful lot of instructions with these, which is really quite good. Very detailed instructions, including a circuit diagram so you can figure out how it works. I'll go over that a little bit later on, but for right now, the key to this whole project is it's made by you. So we've got a germanium diode, carefully bagged up. I believe a Russian germanium diode, I could be wrong about that. A crocodile clips, battery holder, BNC style connector, all baggied up, and a printed circuit board with a nice little silk screen on it, and a whole bunch of different components, including a little transistor power amplifier that you can plug your headphones into, and an LED so that you can see the effects of the radio signals. Yeah, so let's build this and have a go and see how this all works out for us. It should be quite an interesting project. I'd very much like to show everybody this working. Trevor makes some fantastic kits. He's on eBay, and he's an eBay seller. Quite a few people seem to have connected, quite a few ham radio enthusiasts and people seem to have connected with Trevor and his equipment. So we've got a soldering iron, big fat hairy chisel tip. Richard over here would be really upset with me for using this. There you go, that's all working. Matt, who's also a ham, would probably have a bit of a laugh about this video, and I recently wrote up Dubious Engineering and my name here. Soon I'm sure this will probably be full with other YouTubers and people that come around and that kind of stuff. So anyway, right, let's make this. Alright, so one quick point to note about this then. Here's Q1, which is a transistor. Here's the transistor, and you can see the outline of the package. The flat end is going towards the front here. So you know exactly where these pins are going, and you can see there, they're going straight into Q1 location with that silk screen, in that orientation, which I must admit, actually that's a really nice touch. It does make things nice and easy. You don't have to try too hard to figure out where things are and what's going on. There are some components that are on here that we need to understand which components they are. For instance, there's L1 and L2. There's a couple of different inductors. These two devices here, not to be mistaken with resistors, which look very similar. Anyway, these inductors, L1 and L2, go in these locations. I'm not sure which way around they go yet, but I'm sure the instructions will tell me. So let's continue on. So, quick point then, switches, these little bad boys here, obviously obviously switches, they switch on and off. Yeah, you stuff these in. There's the band selector there. This apparently does 2 different bands. There's a charge and test switch here, which goes into this location, and then here there's an on switch. Whoops, there you go. There's an on switch for the Harvester radio. Alright, so we need to get all of those soldered in place next. Okay, this is something that I want to bring your attention to. You can see here we have some diodes, and the deal is the little black stripe on these diodes goes in line with the this here, for instance. So there's a little indicator that shows the polarity, the direction of flow for these diodes. So make sure they're in the right orientation when you're fitting these bad boys. Okay, so remember I said there was a germanium bag in a diode. I lied, it's not a germanium diode at all. In fact, it's a Zener. In fact, if you look here, fit D5 2.2 volt Zener diode. This is marked in a separate bag. So yeah, this is the Zener diode that we need to fit, and this is going to be fitted to this location here, the D5 location, and obviously maintaining that the polarity is correct. Okay, so VC1 would normally indicate that this is a variable capacitor, and in the bag there was indeed a variable capacitor. Thankfully we don't have to worry about orientation for this particular part, so we'll pop that variable capacitor in its hole, which is also marked tune, and we'll solder that in. Okay, so this is the only electrolytic style capacitor on the board. Unlike the variable capacitor that was located over here, VC1, this guy is going to go with the positive side indicated on the silk screen here, and the negative there. Oh, that's a beautiful fit. Nice work, Trevor. That's absolutely spot on with the circuit there. Okay, so just go ahead and get that bad boy soldered in. Okay, now strangely I've noticed that there's an LED here which is indicated on the silk screen by that flat there, and it's only got 2 pins. So an LED has 2 pins, and also if you look at an LED it has a flat on it as well. So we'll just orient that correctly. Again, this is one of these parts that needs to be oriented in the correct manner. And where's the flat? There's the flat. So the long pin, also designated by a long pin and a short pin. The short pin is the flat side of the LED. So there we go. The LED goes in there like this. We'll just solder that in place. Well, I can tell you this for nothing, it's pretty cold out here this evening. In fact, it's so cold I absolutely have to have my fire running here in the shack. Whoops, I don't know if you can see much of the shack there, but yeah. Woof. Right, yeah, get the fire stoked up and save the rest of this project for tomorrow, I think.
Alright, it all started getting a little bit chilly last night, so back on it today. Got the instructions and everything ready to go. So L1 is 1000 microhenry inductor, and this guy lives in this location. There's no polarities to that. L1 is brown, black, red. I've also brought some nasty side cutters with me as well, so we can just chop up a a few of these, chop a few of these leads off. L1 going in. A bit chilly out here in England at the moment. I must admit, Trevor, I'm actually quite impressed with this, with the layout and the instructions. So, very good chap, I reckon, is Trevor. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for going on. What else can I tell you whilst I'm chopping leads? I don't know. I'm quite looking forward to seeing this thing working, though. It'll be quite interesting to see if it actually does what it says on the tin. But I remember my younger years as a radio enthusiast, learning the electronics side of things, and then I think I went to college actually to learn the electronics side of ham radio, and I got my first test. There was multiple tests back when I was a wee nipper. There you go. There's a funny one. Yeah, and I ended up taking it at Brunel Technical College in Bristol, and then actually going on to look at radar and radio communication systems. Okay, so right, that's all those little straggly bits, those leads cut off the bottom. I think I have a spare diode, which is sort of nice. I think you might have added an extra diode there, Trevor. So, okay, good. So we've got a 100k resistor, brown, black, orange, goes into R1 location. Right, let's have a look. What have we got? That looks like an inductor, because that's a bit fatter and hairier. There we go, we've got a couple of resistors. This one here is indeed brown, black, orange. So that'll be the 100k resistor. And that fits in the R1 position, which is just there, right next to the headphone socket. Bit of a tight fit, that one, but yeah, a bit of a tight fit, that, but she'll do it. Okay, and then there's an R2. R2 is a 0 ohm link. Yeah, that would make sense. Look at that. I've not played with one of these before. That's a 0 ohm link. That's very interesting colour codes on that. So that guy's going right here in the R2 location. R2, D2. There is actually an R2 and there is a D2. Yeah, where's the C3PO? Alright, okay, so a couple of those in place. There's another coil here. This is the only other coil that I've got kicking around, so must be this bad boy. So we'll get that one soldered in place. I'm just fitting all the components. We'll turn the board over in a moment and solder things on. I like to get everything located. And we've got 1, 2, 3 ceramic disc capacitors. There is 1, 2, 3 ceramic disc capacitors. There's also a link here as well, which probably goes over the IMA. I'm going to pop that there for now, and we'll double check that that's the correct place to put that in a moment. Right, so we've got C1, C2 and C3. What does it say? C1 is a small ceramic disc capacitor marked 102. So 102 looks like the smallest of the lot. Now then, this is going to be fun. I'm going to need a magnifying glass for this. My eyes are terrible. Zoom you back out. Sorry about that. I'm taking advantage of the digital zoom on this camera. If you're interested in seeing the camera system and the slider and the shed lighting, there's videos on the channel about how I set all of that up. Again, no polarity requirements for these guys, so that's C1. We've got C2 and C3, which are both 104s. So actually these guys are somewhat larger, and somewhat larger than the C102, and they're exactly the same size. So this will be C2. Oh, C3. We're getting close, aren't we? We're really getting close. This is a Star Wars board. We've got a C3. All we need now is a power out, a C3 and a PO. Yeah, that would be good. Oops, I can't get that in. Can't get it in the hole. Occasionally I have that problem. Do. Oh, come on. Look at that. That's just terrible. Right, there we go. Okay, so we'll just bend those legs over ever so slightly just to encourage things to stay in place. Wicked. Get the soldering iron back out on this again. Do. So yeah, if you're a radio enthusiast or a hobbyist, this would be a very good board to learn to solder on. A lot of you are probably going to look at this and go, crikey, this guy's an absolute muppet when it comes to soldering. Yeah, to be fair, I've been doing it quite a long time, and I just can't be bothered now to do it all properly and make things beautiful. And one thing I will say is lead-free solder sucks bottoms. Use the stuff with the lead in it. If it gives you brain damage, you might end up like me. But crikey O'Reilly is such a difference to the shininess of the joint, which aesthetically is very appealing. I have no idea if it makes any difference to the quality of your. It just when you use the lead-free solder, it looks like you've just got dry joints all over your board. It's terrible. Nothing worse than a dry joint. Right, okay, so let's just get these get these bad boys chopped up. We'll go round the circuit in a moment and just make sure that there's no shorts or dry joints for that matter. And yeah, I could really do with a much nicer set of side cutters. But there we go. I suppose at some point in the future somebody might send me something nice. Oh wow, check that out. We've got a black and red terminal. Oh, that's super sweet. Okay, so I reckon they probably go in the battery position here. So this. All right. Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. I don't know if you can see that, but here on the back of here, you can see that this track leads up to here, and it says that this is V+. So I can assume then that the red terminal will be the battery plus terminal here, and the black terminal will be that location there, which will likely be the negative side of things. Alright, super cool. Let's get that all soldered in place. You know, as it's funny actually, you can thoroughly read circuit diagrams and make sure that you've got everything set up, but as experience sort of gains, you end up just being able to sort of guess where things go half the time. Alright, cool. So what have we got over at this end? That'll be the BNC connector by the looks of things, won't it? Right, there's a couple of little what look like test pins there. That's likely to be V plus and minus here. Those are the only other holes that are on the board. So let's just pop these bad boys in here. So one of those there, and one of those there. Yeah, for someone with a little bit of experience, this is an absolute doddle to put together, but it would be good for somebody who's a novice. Alright, I've just been shouted by the XYL, or the soon-to-be XYL, that I need to get my butt inside, because apparently we need to go shopping. One of those things that, well, most men, a lot of men don't particularly enjoy. So, right, okay, that's those terminals in place. I am under starter's orders, so I'm just going to whack this bad boy in place. This is very well made, Trevor, very nicely put together. Alright, let's get this in. You can see that will be the centre pin of the BNC there. That's the only connection. And am I still on camera? Yeah? Oh my goodness, was my head in that? I hope not. Right, now we need to get some serious solder on this. So let's get in there with a bit of that, like that. There we go. One lump or two, sir. One lump or two. Yeah, that's really very poor of me. Okay, awesome. Right, there she is. We'll check that out in a moment. We'll make sure that we've got everything sorted. But for right now, that looks fantastic. Okay, see you in a moment.